Plans don't always go by the book, and that's the same in the movie business. After two interesting films in the G.I. Joe franchise, fans were expecting something special from the third movie, something that will crash the box office. But when you have big expectations, also a big disappointment can happen. And that's what happened to G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. But there must be light at the end of the tunnel, and here's what we know about G.I. Joe's future. Let's start with a quick recap of what happened in last year's movie. The first thing that most of the G.I. Joe movie franchise fans will say about the last movie, how did something like this happen? The military science fiction action film series based on Hasbro's G.I. Joe toy comic started developing in 2009 when the first G.I. Joe movie, The Rise of Cobra, was released. The movie did okay at the box office and had average grades, which were enough for a second movie to be released in 2013. The second installment of G.I. Joe was named Retaliation and did almost the same as the first one. Both movies may not have been masterpieces, but they managed to gather many fans around the world who were impatiently waiting for a third film. And it happened 8 years later, in 2021, when Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins had its premiere. It's supposed to be something that will reboot the series, but the complete opposite happened. Snake Eyes was a real box office disaster. With a budget of $88 to $110 million, the movie grossed only $40 million worldwide. Since the movie was released, the G.I. Joe films have been on shaky footing. Snake Eyes tells a backstory of the beloved G.I. Joe character from the 80s Snake Eyes. After a mysterious man kills his father, Snake Eyes dedicates his life to revenge. His quest leads him to work for Kenta, a Yakuza boss who tasks him with infiltrating the Arashikage ninja clan in exchange for information about his father's murderer. Snake Eyes will manage to gain the trust of the clan's future leader, Tommy, and he'll also act as if he wants to join the group. But he must endure the clan's 3 trials to gain their trust and secrets, and also to get closer to stealing their sacred talisman, the Jewel of the Sun. The item can magically blast fire, and it's part of Kenta's evil plan. But Snake Eyes is not the only one who's after the magic stone. Baroness is a Cobra agent who's also trying to find the mighty talisman. After Snake Eyes betrayed the clan by stealing the Jewel of the Sun, he'll find out that the man who killed his father is one of the Cobras, the people he just handed the powerful heirloom to. He then decides to right his double crossing and goes off to try and help the clan, who are now vulnerable to Kenta. And you should hit that like button below the video right now. No, really, the clan is vulnerable to Kenta, who took the stone for himself, and he's now intending to take over the ninja organization. Everything until the end of the movie revolves around the precious stone, and the story gets pretty complicated. You must keep your focus because with ninjas, magic, and fast-paced action scenes, it's easy to get distracted. One of the most interesting things for fans was the appearance of the Casa de Papel star Tokyo, Ursula Corbero, who portrayed the Baroness. All in all, it was a real shame that the movie wasn't successful as it was expected to be. The cast crew has a solid performance. Henry Golding shows flashes of charisma as Snake Eyes, especially at the moment when his character's thirst for revenge gets the better of him. Andrew Koji also delivered his strongest film performance as Tommy. His character has also slowly risen to the surface as the movie progressed. But can we hope to watch another movie soon? Well, it's hard to say at this point when it will happen, but surely it will happen. Almost at the same time as the announcement for Snake Eyes, a fourth movie named G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant was announced. The movie was first planned to be released before Snake Eyes, but they've switched their places in 2020. According to the information from May 2020, Lorenzo de Bonaventura should produce the fourth film, and the project will be a joint venture production between Paramount Pictures, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Entertainment One, and De Bonaventura Pictures. Since the last movie experienced a real disaster at the box office, the producers and the whole team will be much more precious for the next one. The expectations are that we can hear more about G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant in 2023. And what about the cast crew for the next film? This is one of the most important things that should be fixed. Besides the stars from Crazy Rich Asians and Casa de Papel, Henry Golding and Ursula Corbero, Snake Eyes doesn't bring any other familiar faces. Compared to the cast from the previous 2 films where we saw whole star teams, you will agree that Snake Eyes failed in this regard. So if the franchise wants to revive the G.I. Joe film series, they should also look to include some bigger names from the movie industry. But what can we expect from the story in the next possible movie? Well, there wasn't a post-credit scene in the movie, but if we remember how Storm Shadow ended, and we also have in mind the Baroness's escape at the end, then it's about time for you to smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell below the video. No, really, given these events from the last movie, there could be a lot of things that can happen in the future. At the end of the movie, Snake Eyes will find out that his father was a G.I. Joe, so he'll take Scarlett's offer to join the GIs. I think it's safe to say that Snake Eyes in the future will try to live up to his father's legacy, and he'll try to take down Cobra and Storm Shadow. According to Deadline, Joe Sharpnel and Anna Waterhouse are writing a G.I. Joe Universe sequel for Paramount. This movie should further expand the IP and build on the upcoming spin-off Snake Eyes. So it's good that something is in the works, and it could be another G.I. Joe origin story. Also, there's some news about the G.I. Joe TV series that could be released soon. According to this news, Amazon Prime Video is making a series about Lady J, the famed undercover operative played by Adrienne Palicki in G.I. Joe Retaliation. The legendary G.I. Joe comic book writer and also the creator of Snake Eyes, Larry Hama, last year in an interview for Comic Book Movie, spoke about the long-term plans they have for the franchise. Hama was a consultant for Snake Eyes, but his knowledge of the franchise could be used as the groundwork for future films. Hama said that the inclusion of Scarlett and the Baroness is something that will apply to the next film. The idea was to set up all these things that could be utilized in subsequent sequels or continuations. That's why Scarlett and Baroness are brought in. They don't play a super active part in the ongoing scenario within the movie. They're there to tease the bigger universe and what comes next. In a movie like this, you want to establish all these things ahead of time, so next time you're ready to roll, said in this interview Hama. Given the poor box office performance, it's unlikely that Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins will have its sequel anytime soon. However, the television series for Lady J and the follow-up film to G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is named G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant, are more likely to happen at this point. Both the series at Amazon Prime Videos and the film at Paramount are in active development. Also, there's a chance that Paramount could unite the two Hasbro brands, Transformers and G.I. Joe, in a crossover film where we could see the Autobots and G.I. Joe teaming up against the Decepticons. Let's stay patient right now and wait for a little more time. Until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.